Yes, whether or not you have hard water where you live is absolutely going to affect your cooking and your baking, also your coffee brewing. What even is hard water? Glad you asked. You think this would make a good thumbnail? No. Hard water is not physically hard, it's not emotionally hard, it didn't have a rough childhood. It's water that has a lot of dissolved minerals in it. Most notably, when people talk about hard water, what they usually mean is the calcium and the magnesium. I have super hard water here in Knoxville, Tennessee. Our water comes from the Tennessee River. I shot this footage right after Hurricane Helene. All of the devastation in western North Carolina got washed away and then washed downriver to me. That's just a huge amount of runoff from that horrible storm, and it doesn't normally look like this, but it's a good case in point. The normal filtration processes used by your local water authority are generally going to be able to get out all of that little silt, all of the organics, the bacteria and stuff like that. The one thing that it really can't get out is the dissolved minerals. The minerals are just too small for things like carbon filtration to get out. Yeah, our water passes through all of that limestone and stuff up in the mountains, and so it picks up a whole bunch of dissolved, calcium carbonate, calcium sulfate. Okay, so hard water is on the right. That's my local water. Here is some soft water, and I've got these test strips that I use for my fish tanks, and we can use these here. So what you do is you just dip them on in there for a second, and then pull them out, and then the soft water here, look at that. That square is immediately turning green, which means very, very soft. My Knoxville water over here is turning very, very brown, which means I've got like 150 parts per million calcium and magnesium in it, which is not super hard, but it's pretty hard. It's moderate to heavily hard. Whether or not your local water is hard is generally a pretty Googleable question. Most local water authorities post chemical analyses of their water to their websites. Among other things, water that's really high in calcium and magnesium is generally going to slow down the cooking of vegetables and other plant parts. Plant cells are mostly held together with this substance called pectin. Cooking is significantly about breaking down the pectin, therefore causing the whole thing to kind of fall apart, soften, right? And when you have a lot of calcium in the water, what it does is it actually bonds with the carboxyl groups that are part of the pectin and causes what they call cross-links. So basically it links two different pectins together and reinforces their structure, keeps them held together. So as the temperature, the heat, and the hydrogen in the water is kind of pulling apart the pectin that's holding the plant together, those calcium cross-links just kind of hold on a little bit more before they eventually break. We can prove this in an experiment. Those beans are cooking in hard water. These beans are going to cook in soft water. I'm keeping all the measurements exactly the same. I'm using the same two burners, very similar pots. Should be a pretty fair comparison. Bring them up to a boil and then take it down to a simmer and come back after a couple of hours. And here we are. Hard water beans are on the right. Let's go ahead and taste them. By the way, where am I getting all this soft water from if I have hard water? I'm getting that softer water from Cove Pure, sponsor of this video. The Cove Pure is an incredibly powerful tabletop water purifier and dispenser. Here, let me get a glass going while I tell you about it. 16 ounces, cold please, and go. So most at-home water filters just do like charcoal filtration or something similar, and that's good. That's what the first stage in the Cove Pure here actually does. Here's the first stage filter. It's charcoal, it's foam, the normal stuff that gets out the big things in water. It's this second cartridge that's really special. This is the reverse osmosis filter. Reverse osmosis is the gold standard of water filtration. That is noticeably like crisp and clean and actually like smoother on the palate than hard water is. Oh, and did I mention that you can just use the pitcher too? So yeah, it's going to soften your water for you a bit, but more importantly, it's going to get out things like arsenic and lead. It can help get out PFAS chemicals, the forever chemicals in nonstick coatings that are ubiquitous in our environment now and are associated with heart disease and cancer, obesity, and sex hormone problems, that kind of thing. Nice that I pointed down for sex hormones. At the end stage, it actually remineralizes your water for you a little bit because some calcium and magnesium is healthy for you to have in your water. And get this, you can get $200 off your Cove Pure using my URL, which is covepure.com/Ragusia. $200 off at covepure.com/Ragusia. Thank you, Cove Pure. Anyway, them beans. So the beans on the right were cooked in hard water, the beans on the left cooked in soft water, and the beans cooked in soft water are noticeably softer at this stage. I think it took maybe 20-30 minutes off of the cooking time, which is long. It was like 2 hours for dried beans. Plants take noticeably longer to cook in hard water thanks to the pectin-reinforcing power of calcium. Acids like vinegar can have a similar effect. Hey, what's like the practical takeaway of this? Why does it matter? Probably doesn't matter that much, except that it might help explain to you why like your experience in your kitchen is different from what the recipe predicts. It's okay. These kinds of variables are different for different people, and it's why I hate having to write recipes down, because I don't know what your water is like. Let's talk about baking. Each of these bowls has half a teaspoon of yeast blooming in half a cup of water. Soft water on the left, hard water is on the right. Half a teaspoon of salt goes into each for taste, and when I make bread, I generally just stir in as much flour as I can stir in with a spoon, and this time I need to know exactly how much that is. 150 grams. Nice round number. So, 150 grams of flour goes into the hard water. Stir those up, cover with a damp towel for the 15-minute autolysis step, which makes kneading much easier. Give these both a quick kneading. Let rise a couple hours. I'll wet my hand to keep this wet, sticky dough from sticking to me, and I'll fold them both over on themselves a few times. I will tell you, even at this stage, the dough made with hard water actually feels different, noticeably different. It feels more like gluten-y. It feels more stretchy and soft, supple. Get a Dutch oven with parchment paper in the bottom, plop the doughs in there, hard water doughs on the right, cover and let proof for a half hour. Now they're puffy again. Use scissors to maybe score the top, which helps the bread to puff up more in the oven. Cover to retain steam and bake at like 400 Fahrenheit. Take off the lid after maybe a half an hour to let the outside brown. They feel hollow on the inside. They're done. Hard water bread is on the right. Of course, I mean my right. What's going on here? Well, the calcium ions that are in hard water can actually reinforce the gluten structure of bread, the same way that it basically the same way that it reinforces the pectin. And so when you have moderately hard water like I have, what that does is it just improves the gluten, makes the dough more stretchy, more elastic, and might help with oven spring and stuff like that. Extremely hard water will be bad for bread because it sort of does its job too well. It really reinforces that gluten network and makes it like rigid so that it can't expand in the oven. Plus also extremely hard water, you can taste, even in food sometimes. You can taste the kind of chalkiness of the minerals, the bitterness, and maybe some stinkiness from any calcium sulfates that are in the water. That's the theory anyway. Let's actually do this in practice. I've never done this test before. I'm having an authentic reaction. So this is the soft water dough. That's very tasty. Okay, hard water dough is on the right. And let's see, it doesn't really feel any different, looking different inside, doesn't tear different, does it taste different? I don't know, maybe it's like a little bit more chewy. Well, it's not like I have the most refined palate, and it's not like I'm a great baker, so I don't know, maybe a great baker could tell the difference. Maybe the difference might be more pronounced in something more delicate, like a cake. Moderately hard water is also probably best for brewing coffee. Why? Because you got those calcium ions, it's an ion, so it's electrically charged, and it can help to kind of dissolve or break out more of the flavor compounds from the grinds. This is an incredible article from a coffee roaster in Australia called 7 Miles. Not an ad, but they did this in collaboration with the University of New South Wales. And what they did was they measured the concentration of these different flavor compounds at different levels of hardness in the brewing water. So this is soft water, this is hard water up here. So for the fruity flavors, you can see much less extraction from the soft water, and similar for the nutty chocolate flavors and the vanillin that's in coffee. Caffeine extraction seemed to be pretty much the same across the board. So even mildly hard water will get you noticeably more flavor extraction from your coffee. At the same time, way too hard water is also bad, just because you start to taste those chalky notes. Plus, you'll start to get mineral deposits, scale building up on all of your coffee accoutrement if you're using extremely hard water. It's particularly bad for espresso machines. Like here over on my refrigerator, my stupid door water thing gets a lot of mineral scale down there. What is that stuff? Well, it's little crystals of calcium and magnesium. As those individual dissolved minerals are flowing by, some of them stick to the little colony of them that is started on the side of the metal. This is like one of the most fundamental things in all of geology. This is mineral deposition. This is the same phenomenon that results in stalactites and stalagmites in caves. The good news about mineral scale is that it's really easy to clean. With what? Well, Well, with the answer to many of life's problems. White distilled vinegar. It costs nothing, it tastes the same as expensive vinegar, at least in cooked dishes, and you can clean with it. Just rub it down with some vinegar, or it can be like half and half vinegar water, and it just dissolves those crystals right away. Easy peasy. Obviously, consult your manufacturer's instructions if you're going to do this on your expensive stainless steel appliances. You test it on a small spot, see if it results in any discoloration. The point of all this is just know your local water. And if your soups or your coffee or your bread is not coming out the way that you want it to, you could maybe experiment with altering the water hardness. You can buy, very, very soft distilled water at the store, just mix it with your hard water to make it less hard, that kind of thing. Or if you have very, very soft water, you can remineralize it with packets that they sell for making the perfect water for coffee and pizza dough and stuff like that. Man, that was some serious nerd stuff. This video might be excessively nerd even for me, so I'm sorry. I'll do better next time. Don't be too hard on yourself, Adam.